Pac-Man. This is an arcade port of the all-time immortal classic Pac-Man. This game, if you are watching this video, if you are wondering what Pac-Man is and you have no idea, stop the video now. Go find Pac-Man. This is one of the greatest arcade games of all time. When people think video games, they think Mario, then probably Pac-Man. This game built video games into what it is today, the impact that it had. And worldwide hit, worldwide phenomenon, and Pac-Man is just a pop culture icon above being just a video game icon. And you gotta go play it, guys. Go play it in the arcade first. Get the true experience of Pac-Man. Don't even play Miss Pac-Man yet. And I'll get to Miss Pac-Man here in a second. So enough about Pac-Man and just how good and how much of an impact he had on the arcade scene, video game scene. And let's talk about this port. Is this a good port? Is this a good port of Pac-Man? It's not bad. It's not bad. I like it. I can play it. And sometimes I just can't tell the difference. I think the arcade feels a little bit faster. Maybe that's just my imagination. And the sound effects are a little bit better in the arcade. But that's going to be any arcade port. Okay, you'll see a lot. You'll see that running theme with the NES and the NES Classic Edition ports. Donkey Kong Jr., Galaga, you name it. So, but that doesn't mean it's not a good game. It is a great game. It's a great port. You will have a ton of fun with this. You can sit down for a few minutes, 20, 30 minutes, and just try to beat your high score, get further and further and further. And there's also multiplayer too. Now, it's not multiplayer like in the traditional sense, but you and your buddy can sit down and try to beat each other's scores and just kind of compete there a little bit. So there's a little extra bonus there. Now let's talk more about Pac-Man. Pac-Man, basically you just eat the pellets, if you're not familiar, and the ghosts are trying to chase you and they're trying to kill you. And you can either run away from them and eat all the pellets, or you can try to get a power pellet and eat them back. They'll turn blue. And that's probably my favorite part of the game, is to try to eat all of the ghosts at the same time. Well, within one power pellet, I should say. And there's a lot of challenge there, especially when you get into the higher levels, because the power pellet does not last as long as, say, some of the earlier levels. And there's some challenge there. Now, I did not own this game as a kid. The NES port, that is. I did play this game in arcades as a kid. I had a ton of fun. This was at my local movie theater, and whenever we'd go, I'd beg my parents to give me a couple quarters to play it. And I did. I enjoyed it. A lot of fun. And I didn't own the NES port until I was an adult, after college, when I started collecting hardcore again. And I'm glad to have it in my collection. Great game. It's cheap too. You can get it for like 10, 20 bucks. There's two versions, the Tenjin version. Well, there's two Tenjin versions, and they're essentially the same game. One's licensed, one is unlicensed. So one's like a black cart, you can find it, the Tenjin version, if you will. And I have both. Now, is this my favorite Pac-Man? No. I prefer Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man is a lot faster, and that's what I like about Miss Pac-Man more than Pac-Man, the speed. Now, I know you can change with the setting. There's actually hacks out there, and you can change the settings in your arcade machine to make it go a little bit faster. But Miss Pac-Man, for some reason, I was always drawn to Miss Pac-Man. And you can find Pac-Man anywhere. Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man Jr., Super Pac-Man, any kind of Pac-Man. There's a ton of collections out there, too many to name. The one that I played the most was on the Xbox original, and it's out there. You can find it. It's also pretty much on anything ever made. I remember playing this game actually on a TI-89 calculator in high school. But you can play it. You can find it. It's free in most app stores, Apple or Android, you name it. Just find it, play it. Now, does this game belong on the NES Classic Edition? Absolutely. Pac-Man's a classic, especially if you have not really owned a home version of Pac-Man. This is a pretty good port, and I recommend it. And it is a good inclusion. Like I said earlier, just quick sit down and play and enjoy, and also do a little bit of multiplayer. Well, let me know some of your memories of Pac-Man. Do you think it's one of the all-time great video games? And do you also think this is a good port? Well, guys, thank you for watching. I'm enjoying this month. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.